pleased to welcome back my regular guest. Well, I feel as if you should be interviewing me now, Marcel, because you come on almost as often as I do. How are you doing?
I'm very, very well. Thank you so much. Yeah, I mean, if you want to switch things around, I can interview you. I know you've got lots of interesting things to say. Not a problem.
Yeah, but I couldn't say most of them on radio.
That makes for good radio.
Marcel, how is life treating you down on the Costa del Sol?
I have to say, this is my favorite time of year. I love September. I love October. The weather is much more comfortable. It's much less humid. It's lovely and sunny and bright, but it's cooler at night, which rhymes. And it also is just a lot more comfortable, and business is good. So happy days all around. And I have family here too.
Oh, do you? That's
Yeah,
great.
hmm
And we had our first little bit of rain last night,
we
but
did.
really for months. It was nice, gentle rain, but at least it kind of cleared the air a bit.
Exactly. Barely any sign of it, really. But I love that. I love that about this place because, in contrast to the UK, when it rains there, it kind of doesn't stop. Whereas here, you kind of want it to rain and then it stops pretty quickly. So it's the complete
Yeah.
reverse. Yeah.
So we're into October tomorrow, Marcel. Can you describe sort of differences in the activities down here? Sort of really from summer to probably to about mid-September, then things kind of start to change a little bit, don't they?
Definitely. Well, for a start, obviously, it gets a little safer on the roads because you've got a lot less tourists. But also, in terms of exercise wise, things start to change because you can do a lot more outdoors comfortably and safely as well. So there is an
Sure.
advantage of that, which is obviously a great thing that people can then start going out into the mountains, mountain biking, walking, and obviously a lot of the popular racket sports and so on.
Yeah, it is a problem down here, really, doing a lot of outdoor stuff during the summer, isn't it?
It's potentially dangerous. That's the problem with it.
Yeah, unless you want to get up at 6 in the morning and
Exactly.
see the sunrise, it really is just for most people. I would say it's just too hot, isn't it,
Yeah.
to get out and I mean you can work up a sweat very easily.
Exactly. And even at 6 in the morning, because of the humidity levels, as per referencing our previous videos,
Yeah,
previous radio shows, sorry, hydration becomes absolutely essential because it's so easy to not realize how much you're sweating, despite the fact that your clothes are soaked through,
yeah.
and get dehydrated, even if you're up early. But when the sun comes out, it's a double threat. So it's really intense. And actually, in stark contrast to what we're talking about today, which I think is going to be very useful for a lot of people.
Yeah, I thought there was a bit of a sort of masochistic content in your theme for today,
Always,
Marcel.
always.
So would you like to tell us where we're going
I
today?
certainly would. I
I'm,
certainly
I'm
would.
gonna I'm gonna put a sweatshirt on before we start on this because I know it's gonna make me feel cold.
So just thinking about it is making you chilly, right? Okay, that's
Yeah,
fine. But I'll tell you, and hopefully by the end of the show, hopefully you will be, you know what? I'm going to give that a go because the amount of benefits from what we're going to talk about is really very surprising and hugely underestimated. So, what I'm talking about today is cold showers and ice water immersion.
right. Okay.
I can see the
Yeah.
fear in your eyes.
Well, I have to say, cold showers are difficult for me here.
Right. Yes.
Because we actually because we live in the countryside we do have a mains water supply, but we store our water in two tanks. We have about 6,000 liters, and even when the water comes out the tap, it's kind of lukewarm because the
Right.
two tanks are actually in the sun.
Right. Exactly. So that's, I mean, if you were to have a cold shower, you wouldn't really know it because it's only slightly tepid. It's not really, bottom of the earth ice cold. That's a whole different kettle of fish. It really is. But
Exactly.
even that can have its benefits. So don't
So
underestimate it.
are we talking sort of 2 centimeters cold?
2 centimeters. No, 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 no. What we're talking about here is full immersion. But before we talk about immersion, which is kind of the next stage, maybe like stage 3 of 5, the best way to start is with cold showers.
Right. Okay.
And when I first heard about it, I thought, oh my God, do I have to get into a cold shower? That's going to be really difficult. Now, where we have the advantage here is that when we're in a warmer climate or really hot climate, getting into something cooler is often quite nice, actually. So, it's more manageable. But as we head into the winter, it becomes more of a challenge. But the beauty of this is, let me explain quite simply at the beginning, and I'll repeat it at the end, that it is a progressive development thing. So what that means is that if you want to try this, before I make any recommendations about it, there are some people who need to be very cautious about whether or not they're going to do cold showers and or immersions. And those are people with chronic conditions that are, very quite severe, and those with very unstable heart conditions as well. So a little disclaimer there, you do need to check with a medical professional first, just because there's an element of shock to it. So it's effectively shock therapy.
Right, I knew this was good. This is...
You, however, sir, do not fall into that category. You are the thimble of health, the symbol of health.
Yes, indeed I am. Yeah. So I think this is important to say, Marcel. Really, just what you've outlined. That, if you are a pretty healthy person, you don't have tachycardia and things like this. This shouldn't be a problem. But if you've got medical conditions, that this kind of shock might just spark something off, consult with your doctor first.
Exactly. If you're thinking about doing this, then just if you've got any doubts, as always, check with a health professional, either your doctor or some other specialist that can help you. It's always a good idea to make sure that you're okay to do it. But again, what I'm going to explain to begin with is going to be very progressive. Very straightforward, and almost everyone has probably experienced it once or twice in their life, just because the water has suddenly gone cold and you're in the shower, and obviously it hasn't resulted in any form of heart condition. But what we would want to start off with, once you're cleared to do this, and this is 95% of people that can do this for sure, is to start off very progressively, which is to start off with a warm shower. So I thought you'd appreciate that. You do start off with a warm shower.
I can do that.
You can do that. Brilliant. Okay, we're all in the same book. We're all in the same book. I think even Dave could do that as well. I think he's up for it. So start off with a warm shower, no problem, as per normal. But there is a distinct difference between a warm or hot shower and a cold shower and what it does to your body. And I'm going to explain that to you as well. But a hot shower is actually something that you shouldn't really do too much. Obviously, if you're extremely cold from being exposed to the cold outdoors, that's a different story. But very hot showers are actually quite detrimental for your skin. It's okay for your health, for your general health, but for your skin doesn't like very hot water because it strips your body and your skin in particular of essential oils. So really hot showers all the time is usually counterintuitive. But cold showers, on the other hand, is actually incredibly good for your skin. So what you'd want to do to start off with, very simply, and I'll explain the benefits of this because the list is long, but what you'd want to do to start off is 15 to 30 seconds.
Okay.
So I'll set a challenge for both of you, and we'll talk about this maybe in the near future, whereby you have a normal warm shower, and then at the end of your said shower, you've done everything you need to do, you switch that tap over to the other side, and you make it cold, Dave's coming on, and you go for 15 seconds and shock yourself into a very cold shower.
Yeah, it's this language, Marcel,
Right.
that worries me. Shock yourself.
Shock yourself. Yep.
I've never seen Anderson go pale before or anything before. Like, the walk of worry is like, oh my God.
Yeah.
Now, I'll tell you now, right? Years ago, when I was playing football, I actually did this.
Right.
In a bin.
Yes.
We were told to get in bins.
Good.
Now, but everything that I had that stuck out basically went in for about 3.5 weeks.
Oh, that's it. I knew somehow Dave would make it real. Really real.
had a major case of retraction with regards to anything that was
Now,
that was on the side of my body.
for any of our listeners that are worried about that occurring, it's entirely feasible, and obviously it will come back out again. Okay, that's the most important thing. And here's what's interesting: you might actually like this. Did you know that cold water immersion and/or showers can actively improve your testosterone levels? And indeed, as a result.
I was going to say, because you run around like the clap. Once you get out of that ice bath or whatever it is, you immerse yourself and you're running around like the clappers trying to get warm.
That's right. Although you'll find this is the reason why it helps. The reason why it helps is because your circulatory system and your nervous system responds very, very quickly, hence the term shock. And so what it does is that it's a natural, almost pill for your body, because it's putting it into an uncomfortable state for a short period of time where your body compensates for that sudden shock or change in temperature. And as a direct result of that, in actual fact, and if we're going to get technical with regard to men, it's actually a more comfortable, hospitable environment for your testicles than actually too much heat. So your testicles react. No, just yours, Dave. Just yours react very.
Right, well, I'm off to stand in front of the fridge then for half an hour.
Yeah, good idea. Do that, or just dunk. You could always dunk into an ice bath. Whatever works for you. A shower's fine. So if you do that, it actually actively does benefit. Both for the male gender, your testosterone levels, as well as sperm function as well. That might not be your goal, obviously, but certainly in relation to testosterone. Testosterone is a hormone that's obviously the male hormone that becomes significantly depleted as we age. And there are a few things you can do to help amplify testosterone, but amazingly, cold immersion or ice bath showers have been proven to show an increase in testosterone levels, which of course affects your libido, affects your sort of your physical energy levels, your readiness, your alertness, your muscle development as well, and it can also contribute towards weight loss as well. Not because of the testosterone alone, but because it actually helps the lymphatic glands process more of what's called the white fat, which is the bad fats in your body. And that's really interesting. So if we move into lymphatics, then we start to talk about how it cleanses the lymph glands. And anyone listening to that, basically those are the glands that are in your shoulder, in your armpits, near your groin. Those glands are fundamental for cleansing and detoxifying your blood. So
here's a question for you.
Go on.
What if we got in bed, if me and Mr. Anderson, not in the same bed, but if we got in bed one night, we covered ourselves in a bag of frozen peas from head to toe, would our testosterone go up through the roof and whoever you're with wouldn't know what's hit him?
I would suggest maybe just a cold shower, because your partner might not appreciate a bag of soggy peas next to them, because that might ruin any mood that you might think about doing.
You just come out with you just say to him, look, I've been to Iceland. It's like the advert, when so-and-so's mummy's been to Iceland or something. Just when they get in the bedroom, when they put make it all romantic and everything, pull the quilt back, you just say, Papa's been to Iceland.
Yeah, and it's a bed of frozen peas. You could just sit on those frozen peas. That might be adequate for what you're trying to achieve. But a cold shower might be a better solution before you get into bed, and then obviously you can find ways to warm yourself back up again. That's the better idea, I would suggest. So yeah, go with that. I definitely suggest doing that, and you can even share that with your partner. Whether you and Bill want to share that together, you can experience that. That's fine. But
we get a phone call at 1 o'clock in the morning. Someone chattering teeth on the other end.
It was amazing. Yeah, exactly. That could happen. But it's a very good idea to improve your circulatory system. So in addition to this, so coming back on topic here, Dave, we've got the lymph glands being facilitated because the circulatory system is being stimulated to come to the surface of the skin. So what happens is obviously when you put the cold water either through the shower or through immersion, your veins, your vasosystem constricts. So that means they shrink. And what that does is it pushes all the blood flow back towards the core of your body. And your body does that automatically to protect all the vital organs to maintain proper function. But of course, we're only doing this for a short period of time and eventually building it up as we become better at it. So when we do...
How short is a short period of time?
Oh, 15 to 30 seconds to begin with.
15 seconds. Okay.
Yeah.
I can manage maybe 15 seconds.
Exactly. And then what will happen is, we're talking about the ice therapy, right? Anyway, so that
You say 15 minutes then when you said 15 to 20. I thought, you're going to say 7 minutes.
no. Well, so with the cold therapy immersion, people build up to that, and you literally time it. There are apps, and I'm going to talk about one individual in particular. There's a gentleman by the name of Wim Hoff, who has really pioneered the idea of this cold therapy and breathing techniques to start off with a cold body immersion. So dipping into, exactly as you said, Dave, immersing yourself into a bucket or a bath that's full of ice and water, and you build up progressively over time in terms of time spent inside that space. And it really is incredibly powerful. And Wim Hof has got books, he's got a YouTube channel, he's got an app now as well available on both platforms, Apple and Windows, Android. And it will literally guide you through the whole process. And it is fantastic. There have been people who have changed their health condition just through doing this ice therapy or cryotherapy. And it really is much more extensive than people are aware of. And I mean, just before the show, I had an ice shower. And it is so invigorating. You are so much more alert. If you do this in the morning and you struggle to wake yourself up, I guarantee everyone that does it will feel completely alert by the time they get out of the shower.
I have come across this man. I don't know. His name sounds a bit Finnish or something.
He's Dutch, yeah.
Oh, he's Dutch, is he? Right. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
But we have friends in Finland, and I think they have the masochist gene, because they do things like going into a sauna and then breaking the ice on the dip pool before they jump into it.
That's right. And you know what they do? They whip themselves as well with a very specific reed.
Right.
So just to add to that extreme sensation, they also will beat their skin with a very specific plant, which I can't remember the name of, that's dried out. But effectively, because of the ice, they don't even necessarily feel it. But that shock therapy, and obviously you have to think about the environment they live in. They're predominantly surrounded by ice for most of the year, so they may as well make use of it. And as it turns out, they use hot and cold therapy. That's effectively what they're doing. They're getting into a hot, sweaty sauna, and then they come out and they literally run into their dip pools, which are frozen, almost frozen, or frozen on top. So it's really incredible, and it's so good for their health. And it has actually been proven. There was a 2016 research conducted that found that it can reduce missed work days by up to 1 day a month by participants of cryotherapy treatments. And that's an average. So, of course, it could be a lot more than that. But it effectively shows that you can significantly improve your immune response and your immune system by doing this type of therapy. And there are no side effects. This is the thing. There's no side effects to it. Obviously, hypothermia is a side effect, but that's why there's a progressive build up to it. So
yeah, but you're not going to get hypothermia in 15 to 20 seconds, are you?
You're definitely not going to get hypothermia. That's when you take it to the immersion level. So when you're fully immersing your body, then the risks are slightly higher. But that's why you start with the showers and you build up the time for the showers, and then that'll become fairly straightforward for you. And if you want to build it to the next level, like I say, stage 3 or 5, then you take it to the immersion, and that's when it develops into another level. But I would like to talk about now is the skin.
Talk about the skin.
The skin. So this was a very interesting area that I was really fascinated to learn. Because aside from the deep circulatory impact that it has, from bringing blood to the surface of the skin, because I was very aware of that from my therapies. I recommend hot and cold therapies for localized areas all the time, such as an ankle injury or a knee injury or a shoulder injury. Hot and cold therapy is brilliant for flushing the area with fresh blood. But if you're doing this systemically, obviously with the whole body, what it can do for the skin is it's actually been proven to positively impact dermatitis.
Right.
So dermatitis is a condition of itchiness on your skin, and if you can cold immerse with in a shower or a bath, then it's been proven to reduce the itchiness to begin with. And if half the battle is to prevent the scratching, then obviously you prevent it from getting worse. And over time, it will allow the skin to heal itself. Because what happens is with the cold is that the pores of your skin close, because obviously they're protecting themselves because of the vasoconstriction. And so they close up, and it helps to reduce the oiliness and manage the oiliness of your skin, which usually dermatitis is coming from oiliness that then gets dirty, that then gets irritating on the skin and becomes itchy and uncomfortable. Whereas the ice therapy is proven to massively positively affect that, which is profound and could seriously help a lot of people who have dermatitis or other deep skin conditions in various parts of their body, from their elbows to their knees, etc.
Well, I tell you what, I don't have that problem, but if I did, I think I would rather try this approach first than going to the doctor and getting some really nasty creams
Exactly.
with God knows what in them.
Exactly. Well, what you would get from the doctor would be a steroid, an oral steroid or a topical steroid, which you'd put on your skin. And that, of course, is a foreign substance, chemical substance, that you're attempting to try and integrate with your body's systems. And all that's happened is your body's regulatory system has been negatively impacted for one way. So it's better to work to heal from the inside out than trying to go from the outside in, if you know what I mean, using the foreign subjects.
Right, yeah.
Yeah.
So I think it's kind of encouraging. I mean, I was joking with you at the beginning, Marcel, about masochism and whatever.
Yeah.
But I have known people, especially people who keep themselves very fit.
Yep.
We're talking about Royal Marines and people like that.
Yep. We're going to talk about that.
Who and we're talking Scotland now. And when water comes out of the tap in Scotland,
you know.
You have to break off the first few drips. But people who swore by this, as part of their fitness regime.
Yeah, 100%. I mean, and that's it in Scotland, or in the lochs that they have. They are fantastic for exactly that type of thing. I mean, where I used to live in southwest London, people would go, or North London even, people would go to Hampstead Heath, and they would go to Hampstead Heath in the height of winter, and they would jump in the lakes there. And there was an official pool that was a natural lake, and it was freezing. It wouldn't actually be iced over normally. Sometimes it would in extreme situations, but it would be very cold. And they would regularly swim there, and it's an absolute godsend for a lot of people. And the thing that's very important is that the majority of the people who would go there are actually over the age of 50. So a lot of people maybe listening to the show might be of that older category. They might be thinking, oh, this definitely isn't for me. When actually in reality, it really, really can help to improve the circulation, the stress levels, the body's natural ability to heal and recover, way better than expected, and sometimes way better than most forms of medication. But again, quick disclaimer again, you need to make sure that you're cleared to do so before you pursue that line of activity. But it's well worth trying, because the benefits outweigh the downsides, because the downsides obviously are very unlikely to cause you any mortal damage, unless of course you are already high risk.
Right. And when you think about it, Marcel, it's people probably over 50 that potentially have the kind of health, I'm not talking about health problems, but they're just general state of health that probably would benefit even more from this. And I'm thinking about things like circulation, for example, probably would benefit more from this than, I don't know, a 22-year-old footballer, you know?
That's exactly right. That's exactly right, because the 22-year-old footballer's probably got a pretty good circulation, pretty high functioning cardiovascular system. If they're a footballer, then they're physically active. So 100%. Now, the application for athletes is slightly different than it would be. I mean, of course, the health benefits are the same, but the reason why the ice bath is so good, and I'm going to talk about it in a little bit as an application for athletes or physically active people, especially in relation to what Dave was saying, is there would be a complete difference. But the advantage is that they can both do it. And for the person over the age of 50 with, let's say, aching knees, they would be far better off giving this a go on the basis that they've been cleared to do so and seeing what their autonomic response is, because their immune system might just react exactly how they want it to, which is suddenly after a couple of weeks of doing this type of treatment, they no longer have knee pain. And that's without taking any medication. That's without perhaps using any external devices, etc. That's incredibly powerful. One of the things we know that affects, for example, diabetics and or older individuals is circulation to the hands and the feet. And so if you are doing this shock therapy effectively, where your hands and feet are exposed to these lower temperatures, it's going to force your circulatory system to vasoconstrict, which is what happens on contact with the cold temperatures, and then expand. And when they expand, that's when the blood flushes back towards the skin. And that's when you're getting the health benefits as well. So if you're doing that, you're not only improving the circulation, you're improving the elasticity of your veins. And that is what suffers as you age. Your body's ability to be more elastic, which is why older people get stiffer when they exercise, or their muscles or their joints become stiffer. All of that is related to elasticity. And if you can improve your elasticity, both on a micro scale as well as on a macro scale, such as a joint, then it's very profound as to how it could potentially improve your life.
Okay, Marcel, we're going to take a short break.
Yep.
And we're going to listen to the Bond theme.
Ah.
So, Halewood.
Fantastic.
Dave Halewood.
Love it.
Take it away. Marcel Salazar, who is talking about cold showers and ice baths.
Yes, I am.
The benefits for our health. Marcel, we've had a bit of fun, but I think we've got the serious side of this as well. Where do you want to take us next? I think I should just mention that Dave and I have said that over the next month, not together, because he's in France.
Just to
I'm in
clarify,
Spain,
yep.
we're going to try the cold shower treatment.
Brilliant.
Let's see what happens for a month.
Now, just to reiterate for any of our listeners that are joining in now, if you want to follow a particular routine, I would highly recommend downloading the Wim Hoff Method app.
Okay.
Because what that will do is it will guide you through how to do it, and timing, as well as logging. So that means you obviously tick, yes, I've done it. And you can actually share that on socials or with each other. But there's also another aspect to it, which is breathing. Because if anyone's been in cold water, or anyone has tried this at the first time, which one of you could tell me what's the first response that you get when you immerse in cold water or touch anything cold? Yeah. You breathe in and hold it. Exactly. And when I was in the shower this afternoon, before the show, I was like that. So,
when I get in, there's a lot of there's a lot of that going. People thought I was an opera singer.
That's, I don't know. Yeah, each to their own, everyone makes different sounds however it goes. But the main thing is, or whatever your singing voice is like, it's going to happen. But more importantly, when you want to remain under that cold stream of water being able to breathe through it is very, very, very important. What I experienced from doing it most recently is that it makes me a little dizzy. So I actually can literally feel the effect that it's having. It made me feel a little bit dizzy, not uncomfortably dizzy, but just a little bit. And so being able to breathe through it, making sure you feel stable, making sure you feel comfortable or safe is very, very important. So just learning a little bit about it is going to be useful, not just for logging and sharing and monitoring what you're doing, but also preparing yourself both mentally as well as to a certain degree of learning. A bit like meditation. Meditation takes practice, but you need to know how to do it first as well. A lot of people actually stop meditating because they don't fully understand exactly how to do it and then why they're doing it. And often, we're not going to talk about meditation, but one of the reasons because I do ask whether people meditate, one of the reasons that I'm given for not continuing meditation is that they say, oh, I was distracted by other things and I couldn't concentrate on what I was doing. And that's exactly why you meditate. That's exactly why. So you need to practice the art of it first. And in the same regard to this, if you don't really fully understand why you're doing it or perhaps what your bodily reactions are, then you might find a bit of a deterrent and you might find that you don't want to do it. But actually, when you learn a little bit about it, then you kind of go, oh, okay, so that reaction is normal. I should feel like that. I need to do this, or I need to do that, or I need to spend a little bit less time, or maybe I'm ready to do a little bit more time. So that's where the guidance comes in really, really handy. And again, Wim Hoff, you'll find him all over social media. And he's been interviewed by numerous people all over the world, including Novak Djokovic is a huge fan of Wim Hof. Ellen DeGeneres obviously featured him on her show. So he is a global, well-renowned individual who's simply pioneered the concept and created a bit of a methodology, which has helped people to obviously incorporate it into their lives.
So do you do this on a daily basis, Marcel,
So-
or do you do it from time to time?
I will be doing this. So I'm going to join you, both of you, individually and together, for at least the next month. At least the next month. Dave's looking very nervous. Don't worry, I'm not coming to France.
I'm just thinking I've got soap on a rope. It's not going to last very long if you're coming in there with me.
As long as you share, I'm all right with it, Dave. As long as you share. But that's fine. I will happily, every day, I will definitely do at least 30 seconds, looking to build it up over time. And I've already started. Another person who's been doing it for longer and is a closer individual for personal experience is my brother. My brother's been doing it for the last, I think he said 6 months. And he's literally noticed that he hasn't been prone to any colds that he might normally have got.
Just pneumonia.
Just pneumonia. But that's fine. That's only life-threatening, so it's fine. No. In fact, he has actually had pneumonia before. He had it once. And that was not through this methodology. That was because he went for a bike ride and a snowstorm came in. So that was very unfortunate.
What we'll do is we'll wear a balaclava then. We'll go in with a balaclava.
Where are you going to put the balaclava? No, obviously on your head. But I mean, yeah.
And I'll get one of them woolen willy warmers as well.
That's what came to mind. Yeah, I'm sure our partners will be thrilled by that.
Yeah, a pack of 3 and we'll be fine. 3 of us will be wearing them every morning in the shower. You can see them being dried outside on the clothesline for the purpose.
I think we should show that and share it socially as well. But anyway, that's fine. We can do that. I'm just going to use a sock. That's fine. That fits comfortably. So, So yeah, it's a great idea, and I'm definitely going to join you guys. I'm going to do it daily, and I really want to try and go into the winter and maintain it, because exactly as you said, the cooler it gets outside, the harder the idea or the concept of getting into a cold environment is like, no, that's definitely not what I want to do. And based on the construction of most houses in Spain, they are fantastically good at getting really cold in the winter because they're designed to stay cool. So my flat does exactly that. So it will be quite tricky. But here is the advantage, you see. When you flush your body with cold water, your body's response is at first, internalize the blood to keep the core muscles and the systems working, but then to flush the system externally to go straight to the skin, come to the surface of the skin, and you feel hot. So in actual fact, you'll be much warmer for longer if you had a cold shower than a hot shower.
Right.
Yeah.
So you're going to start with 30 seconds a day.
Yeah.
Dave, how many seconds are you going to do a day?
I'm going to write my will first, just in case anything goes wrong.
It's a good idea, Dave. That's a good idea.
I'm going to get some handlebars put in the shower as well, so
Good.
I can hold on if we start getting dizzy.
Good. But all good ideas. These are all good ideas. Excellent.
I'm going to get my vocal cords sorted out, because if there's a lot of going on, you might be hearing going in there as well.
That is without doubt. Yeah, there'll be a lot of noises coming from your shower.
I'm going to take the coward's approach and start with about 10 seconds and see if I can work it up a little bit.
Good. Very good.
You'll be all right. Once you're in there, once you've got in, the thing is, get the water on your head and put it on your head first, and then go under, and then once you're in, you're in. You can handle it you're all right for a couple of minutes. Once you've got used to it like that, even if you've not done it before, two minutes, you're all right. You can handle it.
You see, and that's coming from somebody who's done cold bath immersion, because it is a shock, but you adjust very, very quickly. So you'll find, Dave, Bill, you'll find very quickly that 15 seconds is easy. It's easy.
Right.
You know, it is a bit of a shock. 'Cause you've been in the sea, right? You've been in the sea here. And once you're in, after maybe 60 seconds in the sea, you kind of adjust. It might be a little bit intense, but you kind of adjust. And that leads me nicely as a segue into the fact that I would like to recommend that those that are local to this area, that there is in fact a Facebook group created by my client for cold dips. And it's called Mijas Costa Cold Dip Club, which I love. And that is a group of individuals who will meet at the sea early in the morning, and they will go into the sea for a cold dip.
Okay. Yeah. Well, actually, it's interesting because usually on New Year's Day, Vicky and I will go for a walk down the beach or something, you know?
Yep.
I like the beach in winter more than I do in summer, to be honest.
Yeah.
Now she's being exhausted and being forced into the sea now.
There are always, and you know, I'm sure it's not exclusively, but particularly Scandinavians on New Year's Day are getting in for the swim.
Yep.
And they make me feel cold just looking at them. And you know what? They feel cold as well at the beginning. And then when they get out, they feel amazing. And from a systemic point of view, because it's a shock to the system, it will raise your heart rate, but it will also release endorphins from your brain. And endorphins, as we know, are the feel-good hormones. And if you can ride a wave of endorphins on Christmas Day, despite all the food you may have eaten and all of the presents you may have received, it also will give you this free drug release that is absolutely fantastic, and it can make an enormous experience, a very memorable experience. Right. Okay, so are you going to do that like the Polar Bears Club on Christmas Day or New Year's Day?
Yeah, yeah, especially because I'm going to be joining this cold dip club. Cold dip club. I'm going to go with them when I can to the sea, get used to it nice and early on. And every year I've said I've wanted to go into the sea, and for one reason or another, either chickening out or other family things, I haven't done it. But I'm going to do it this year. So for sure, I'm committing to that on radio.
But the good thing is, Marcel, even if people don't live in this area, they can still take a look at the Facebook page.
Absolutely.
And there might be some stuff on there that's of interest to them. So it's
Absolutely.
Mijas Costa. Mijas is spelled M-I-J-A-S. So like Mijas Costa Cold Dip. So if you're interested, you know, people can take a look in the Facebook page and follow it.
Yep.
And see what's happening with that.
I've just thought. Sorry, mate. I've just thought as well. What about if we film us on Christmas Day going into it? I'll go to the beach here. I'll go in. I'll lodge myself in there. And we all go in on Christmas morning. You video it, and then we put it up on this group or whatever it is.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know, I'll send you the video of me doing it, and then Bill can do it, and he'll video Vicky doing it.
Deal.
I think I might pass on that one.
No, you won't, lad. No, give it.
Bill, I'll go with you. We'll hold hands as we run into the sea.
Yeah, but it'd be like the film. What was that film with Burt? What's it? Lancaster. You two holding hands, running into the sea, and then running out again and falling on the.
Just a minute, Dave. You know, going into the sea on Christmas Day is not in my contract. Oh, wait a minute, I don't have a contract.
Yeah.
He's running to death.
He is.
Get it there, lad. It won't be that cold where you are. It'll be nice and fresh.
You would be surprised.
You won't blink all the way through your Christmas dinner. You won't be blinking. Put it that way.
We have got actually on this part of the coast, which is the south coast, the water can sometimes be remarkably cold, even in summer, because we've got the Strait of Gibraltar and these currents coming straight from the Atlantic.
Don't fluff it up. I'm going in the Atlantic.
Yeah,
you're going in the Mediterranean.
Bill's seriously building up his backstory now. He's like, did you know the Strait of Gibraltar is running directly in here? There's a lot of poisons. There's all of that. That's fine. Bill, if you don't want to do it, I will happily accompany you, but there's no pressure for you to do that whatsoever. But I would be lovely to do it.
I think this is equivalent of cyberbullying here.
A little bit. There's a little bit of that. But coming back on theme, what I did want to share as well is the reason why athletes get into cold baths. Because exactly as Dave said, when he played football, he got into a bucket of ice water. So in addition to all the things that we've mentioned already, the reason why athletes do this, and you'll find that most pro athletes now do this as a regular thing. Tennis players do it. If you look it up, you'll find YouTube videos of almost all athletes, basketball players, tennis players, footballers, obviously, rugby. They'll get into these baths. And the reason for that is because it speeds up recovery. So we know that from exercise, we obviously get toxins released into our body that can give us muscular soreness. Our body also degrades a little bit in order to build back up again. And ice cold immersion, because it's flushing the area and forcing fresh blood, oxygenated blood, back through the muscles to the surface of the skin, what it does is amazing because it will facilitate the body's ability to heal and reduce the likeliness of muscular soreness as well. So if you've done a very physically active running activity, so footballers, tennis, etc., just the lower half of their bodies is enough in order to flush that and prevent that soreness, speed up recovery and get them ready for the next activity or event. And it becomes part of their routine. Aside from getting physical therapy, deep tissue massage, or in addition to, they will also do ice therapies as a very effective medium. Hence mentioning Novak Djokovic, not just for the health benefits, but he does it for psychological benefits as well, because it does strengthen your mindset very, very powerfully.
Have you thought about setting up a sort of ice tub in your clinic? I
think I should. I think I should. When I worked in, you know what? That's. I would totally do that. When I worked in America for a while, they had a dedicated ice tub that the players would come and jump into after every match. And these were young kids between 16 and 18, and they would all immerse themselves in their kit and sit in there for 5 minutes and take turns. And it was a bit like torture for them, but they loved it. They recognized the benefit. This was 15 years ago as well.
There's possibly a little business idea here, Marcel.
There is.
Get something that's portable, you know?
Yep.
And you can go around all of the sort of training events, you know, the basketball and the football and everything, and have this sort of portable plunge pool.
You know, if I'm honest, it already exists. There are all you need is a blow-up paddling pool.
Right.
So a blow-up paddling pool will be absolutely adequate. You fill it up with a bit of water, cold water, and chuck in some ice bags. And that's it. And that will work. And there are literally, like Wim Hof, for example, he does global tours or groups that work on his behalf, etc. They do these types of events where groups of people will meet. They'll set up a whole bunch of these blow-up pools, fill them with water and ice, and then collectively, people will go in there and they'll obviously... It's not a competition, but they'll try and go in there for as long as they physically can. And these things already exist. So absolutely. Just maybe not in this area, which could make it interesting. So
I mean, you could charge them €5 a toss, you know, for a minute in the pool.
Dave,
you know?
that's not one for you. That's not one for you.
No,
Yeah,
I'm just thinking he's on the bandwagon now, thinking about money making.
I love it. I love that. Yeah, no, we'll put something together, Bill. We'll put something together. I'd love to do that. I'm sure there's a few people you can think of that you'd love to immerse in cold water, or at least dunk in cold water anyway.
I could think of several people, yes.
Counsellors, yeah.
Yeah.
But you're not allowed to weight them down, are you?
No, well, these paddling pools are not terribly deep, but the sea is a good one. The sea is a good one to get somebody to go in with a weighted belt. That would definitely do it. That would definitely do it. But yes, so that's what I would recommend highly is for people to seriously consider doing some ice therapy and really try and build up to doing cold showering. It does make a huge difference based on all of the list of health benefits we've just mentioned there. And I'll be sharing more information on my Facebook page as well and Instagram. So yeah.
Okay, so when you come back next month,
Yep.
Marcel, we will give you an update
Good.
on how we're doing. Okay?
Excellent.
Yeah, Anderson will come on looking like Marilyn Monroe.
He will. And Dave's going to come on saying he's got 3 more children on the way.
I'll come on claiming I've just filled up UNICEF. They're at maximum.
I don't know how we can turn a serious subject like this into...
Easily. It would appear very easily.
Bill's getting in the shower with his gloves on to begin with and a balaclava.
Yeah.
And then when we're Christmas morning, that'll be an absolute pearler. Going in a thong. You've got to go running in a thong. No shorts, you got to go in a thong.
It's a whole new level Dave's taken it to. Whole new level.
He has indeed, yeah. Well, I am going to hold fire at any commitment to Christmas Day.
Fine.
Marcel, thank you so much for joining us again.
You're very
today.
welcome.
It was really interesting. All the fun and joking apart, it's been a very interesting topic to cover, and we'll report back to you in 1 month's time.
Fantastic.
Everyone who's listening in, Dave, thanks a lot for producing things. Have a great weekend, and I will be back next Friday at 1 o'clock. Take care, everyone.
Thank you. Okay guys, hope you enjoyed that. That was a very cool video about cryotherapy and cold water immersion. It was really, really good. If you've got value from that, please do let me know. And I look very much forward to hearing your comments. And thanks so much for joining us. And I'll speak to you very soon.